Hello guys. This is Minnie back. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's week was good. Alright, did a couple things over the weekend. Over the weekend. Over the week while I haven't been on. Um, there's some things I can't do on the camera. There's other things that I can do. Didn't want to bore you guys with. Still we're gonna do working on the truck live as best as we can. Um, So last week we worked on the motor. So I got the motor. Um, I went ahead and painted the chassis in my paint booth. My painting stuff is all out in the garage, so I can't do that online, on live. So I went out and took care of that. And oh, I did put those in there. Let me get those out. And another one of the things I did, remember we were working on the motor last week. So what I ended up doing is I ended up painting it up while we were away. I'm going to try to do something here for you guys. See if I can't zoom in, see if that makes it any better. This help? All right. I put my magnifying glass on there. Let me clean that up for a minute. Okay, so you see I just did the chassis, and um I wanted to do that hot rod black look. So it's a semi-gloss. I used Stynylrez black gloss. I use Stynylrez. It's a primer. Um, Black gloss. I use that for the chassis. Um, Let me see if I can. All right. So on the carburetor, we painted the carburetor up. We added some watch parts for some of the metal work. We added the throttle linkage, throttle cable, throttle return spring. It's got the plug wires. I used an aluminum piece from an aluminum pop can to get the right there to get the wires, wire loom thing. You can see it on both sides. Solder for the oil caps, and heater hoses are added. And then the alternator, I added an alternator bracket from Model Car Garage, and then the power and negative lines, and then the heater hoses are all there. Then on this side, you can see I went with braided fuel line into the fuel pump right there. See, this right here is a regular view of it. And well, I noticed one thing about build. I went ahead and did the battery. Thank you, Mr. Parker. Went ahead and did the battery too, just because I needed to know um, the length of the battery cables. And then once everything's installed, I'll do the Photo X battery terminals. But that'll be that right there. I added some decals to it just to give it some, just to make it look like, got some custom work to it. On the radiator on these, um, they're hollow on the backside, so I added some screen. Here it is, not painted. I added some screen to give it a little bit of a detail. I kind of didn't like that look right there, so I went ahead and just painted it. So beware if you guys open up your grills Because on this truck, I opened up this area and you could see through the grill. And once you see through the grill, where's the grill at? I didn't want just a big, once the grill was installed, you just see the plastic like over here. So I cut all that out so that way you wouldn't see it. The radiator that these plugs were for. Hello, Mr. Ron. The radiator these plugs are for is really narrow, and it's for the straight six. So I used a bigger radiator because the bigger radiator is for the big block Ford. So I'm going to remove that. So let's do that today. And then we're going to do some radiator detailing. But first, I wanted to be able to share with you guys. So now we remove that. Guys, I don't know if you guys are a part of the group on Facebook. I'm doing good. Yeah, like Mr. Parker said, we're getting snow. We had snow this morning, and we're supposed to be getting a pretty decent storm coming in for Saturday, so we'll have to see. Now we got that removed. Once you see this like this, it was just a big blank piece. I'm going to pull the 70 cab out. I'll pull the 67 cab out and show you. On these Mobius kits, you see the grill here. You guys got so much snow, Mr. Parker, that it shut down I-70 on its way to me. But when you take the grill off, see how it's solid? You can't see none of the radiator detail. I know other builders have just put the grill painted the body and did the blackout in the back. I kind of wanted to show a little bit more detail than that. So when you do it like this, take the grill out so that way. So now you can see, you can get some of that grill detail in there I was talking about. Now you see that, see how much better that, to me, that looks a lot better. So now we got that there, and that's the radiator in there. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to do some detailing on the radiator itself. I'll have to work on these. So what I wanted to do here is I want to give the radiator shroud itself an aluminum look, but keep everything else black. So let's do this. Where's my silver? I'm gonna start with the clean slate here, guys. All right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That solid piece, I know it wasn't majorly important. It was just something that I wanted to do. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to detail the radiator with Stynylrez. This right here is a silver primer. You can tell I used a lot of them. Wore the serial number off of it, or not the serial number, but you guys know what I mean. Guys, help me out here. Somebody was on a video, and I couldn't remember if it was Facebook or if it was YouTube, but they were talking about saving this styrofoam wrap that comes in some electronics to keep, particles. Basically, it's like a dust barrier, but they were doing it for the hood insulation, and I wanted to give them a shout out. Now I forget who it was, but they made a little video of it, and I actually found some that's gray. Instead of painting the pink stuff, this right here is actually gray, so it'd work better. It's for the hood insulation underneath some of your modern cars. So I tell you what, I was very hesitant for the longest time. I'm talking because I've used acrylics now for several years, but prior to it, man, I didn't want to switch from using my Testors enamels. But then once Anthony from War Dog Models sent me some stuff to share, he sent me some samples of the Vallejo stuff. Yeah, Ron, let me find a newer car real quick. Let's see. Here's a Tamiya hood. Sometimes I don't know what their detail like is under the hood. Let me share something real quick since Ron. All right, so this right here is a Revell. This right here is the original Monogram 86 Monte Carlo, and you can see where they put the texture for the heat insulation. Well, what this gentleman shared is this stuff is thin enough. You'd have to apply it with white glue, either Elmer's glue, or I choose to use Alina's glue. I mix that with water and make it a thin base. And instead of trying to paint this on for detail, you'll lay this down, and that right there will be your hood insulation, so it looks more real. I found these just in garbage, but I believe it's when we bought our kids their Switch, and then you just use it like that. And I wanted to give the correct shout out. I forgot who posted it, and if it was here on YouTube or if it was a Facebook post, but I remember seeing it, and it made me go digging. I want this to look like an aluminum radiator, so I don't want it to be too shiny. So I'm using the silver primer for those guys just joining me. Wonder what that is, Steve. I've never heard of that. If you guys ain't familiar with Mr. Watts, go check out his channel. A lot of the kitty craft foam I've seen, or that we get here in the US, Steve, it's solid. It's not see-through like that. Right there's almost like a foam netting. I would consider it, like I was saying, I consider a dust barrier. This chassis so long, guys. Okay. I got to follow um, some of Paul Bretland's um, builds and reviews this week. He's reviewing a new model company, new resin company. Man, it showed some neat castings. Um, older Benz race car and newer BMW and a neat little Toyota Yaris. Man, it looked like a really neat um, resin kit. I'm gonna let that dry and put a second coat on that. While we're waiting for that to dry, I'm gonna detail up um, this third member. I'm gonna put some silver on it. If you guys are part of the Facebook scale models deal or no deal, um, I put up a few items. Today I'm kind of in the need of some supplies, so I offered up some doubles of some stuff. Um, Tried to generate some hobby funds. You guys know I don't do the Patreon and that other stuff. I'd rather offer you guys stuff to build yourself versus you guys spending money on something and not getting nothing in return. Not knocking anybody else that does. I'm gonna go ahead and do a dry brush on here. I'm not knocking anybody else that does Patreon and all that. I don't have the content. I don't have the content to offer anything worth somebody spending their money for. I'd rather you guys build too. And if I needed money for supplies, better offer you guys, my viewers and followers, something to work on yourself. Let's see what this looks like in the body. I just did a light dry brush on there. And now we'll put it back in the truck and see. That kind of highlights it a little bit, don't it? Let's take the grill out. The grill sits in there in two prongs, so it stays pretty secure. But that's the radiator inside the truck. And then this side. So they kind of make it look like an aluminum. And I got photo etch. I'll do a photo etch breather cap. Got to let that dry for a minute. I don't know if I should do anything to the radius arms or the leaf springs. I've just got shocks to put on there still. See these radius arm brackets right there? I think I'm going to highlight those. Just give the chassis a little detail. trying to do this build all online only, or all live only, I should say, I kind of got to sit back and think. I don't just rush out and do. It's right there. Once we get the radiator done, I'm going to go ahead and mount the motor, so we'll probably mount the engine today. Like I said, the way I got to see the motor to do the detailing, I just went ahead and did that offline, but you guys got to see me actually fab everything up. I just basically painted it. All right. Now let's get that third member another coat. Then we'll pull the black out and do some touch-ups. I also want to add um, a drain plug to the third member, and I want to add a drain plug to the oil pan on the motor. Put that right there for now. Put that up. Oh. So let's get this out. This is the black that we used on the chassis. We're going to do some cleanup. Here's my purple brush. Now, in order to mount this, it had really poor fitment. For you guys that are building this truck, I had to drill into the chassis, and then I welded, super glued the radiator in place because the holes were very poor, and that's why it's done already. And then I hit the chassis with silver while I was painting the radiator, so go in there and clean that up. Guys, I'm not a perfectionist by any means, but there's some details that, look better if we just clean them up. So over on the scale deal or no deal, um, I had to put my stuff in the parts page. They got a kit page, a parts page, and a trade page. So I put all my stuff today over on the parts page. According to the rules, some my promos that I posted up don't have um, original boxes, so they have to go as the parts side. And so if you go over to the parts one, you'll see I put a Ford Maverick up, um, but I added a lot of resin stuff um, to the lot. I posted up a 72 Johan Gran Torino, a 77 Valari, and then a 66 Fairlane promo. It's the 2000 issue. It's not original, um, but they were of doubles. So I just cleaned up that third member. Looks a lot better. And then I have to clean up this spot here where my tweezers, we held on to it. Nope. Yeah, another thing I forgot. We need to get the exhaust figured out too. So we'll work on that. I don't know if you guys ever had to work behind the camera. Sometimes that's difficult. And I remember last week when we were working on the motor and I was doing the exhaust, I remember I made the comment that it must have a Y pipe, and I didn't see that piece in there. That's because Mobius puts it all on the one unit. You can see where the Y pipe is. So let's get all that mold line off. Get the mounting points off. I know some of you gentlemen are retired or disabled, but this week, Ron, I work on a phone stand, like a selfie stick, and I use my phone. I don't have a home computer. We do everything off our phones anymore. So I put it up where you guys can view or see it, and I work behind it. Basically, sometimes I feel like a doctor in surgery. If you ever watched the doctor shows where they're looking through a small camera and figuring out where they're going. So sometimes I feel like that. But what I was going to say, I know some of you guys don't have to get out and work, but I had a good week at work this week. Got some things done. We started a couple new people. I'm part of our safety team. Like, if dad versus son joins, RDC has what's called a safety team. It's fairly easy, Ron. You don't have to worry about the editing part because it's naturally it's live. And to me, it loads up quicker. I mean, not only do you guys, the viewers, get to follow right now, but say if you had to leave and go somewhere and you wanted to see what else I got done today, it seems like this loads up quicker than the other stuff. So I think this goes under, over, under. All right. I kind of messed this up by putting that was the first thing we did is lowered it. So now move that in there. Oh, that's really bad. All right. All right, so I got to go over, under, over. So in, it's like a puzzle. Oh, no double takes. I know some people like to edit and they add music or information to them. Guys, I buggered that all up. So there's that. Now we got to take this under. There it goes. Then where's this mount to? All right. I got to give it to Mobius. All these pins, all these pinholes are nice and tight. There's no glue on that. And look at that, fellas. That stays right in there. You know what would be neat if I had a cherry bomb decal. Paint this red, put the cherry bomb in there. So it looks like I want to see before I start painting on this, I want to see where the exhaust outlet is. So it is see, ever since I raised the front, I noticed that ever since we put in this part right here to raise the front to make it even, the pins don't light up front. It barely lines up at the back. So if we put all this in, I guess the exhaust outlet is right there. So that still gives me room to put an aluminum tip. I can still put an aluminum tip on there. But I think I need to do something here. Guys, we're going to modify this a little bit today, but we're going to modify it on the floor and not the frame. So in order to keep this right where I need it to be, because I noticed that the pins ain't lining up anymore, I'm going to put, where's my plastic stock? I want to put some runners in here. And get me out some runners. Use that. Here's something that's already doubled up. Alright. I'm going to double up. Get out of there. See if I do it this way. Will it line up? Gotta get the tweezers out. Sometimes, guys, when I build and I'm not on camera, this bench looks like, it's hard to explain. This bench gets so wiped out. Alright, that ain't gonna work. I'm gonna get me a piece of plastic stock. Alright, give me a couple pieces of 40. Let me make sure I don't have no 45. Right. Give me a couple pieces of 0.40 in here. I'm gonna take the exhaust back out. I was gonna do full solder for the exhaust, but it's so long I don't have enough solder. So let's take that out. We'll move that for right now. Okay. So if everything was correct, get you guys back down here to where I'm working. I need it tall enough put that in there like that. Put it right here. I need it right there. Where's my... automatic pencil. Then I need to get it the right height. Let's do that. I'm going to do this with the snips. Now I know how long I need. I'll make me a couple more right quick. Do that. I'll even go ahead and instead of my clippers, I'll use my scissors. Alright. So what I want to do now, I want to put placements in. That way we know where to frame. Oop, lost that one. You know what? Now I'm confused. I think I want to go ahead and put this. I think I want to go ahead and put that one there. I'm going to flip this around. Basically, because I didn't like the way it was folding over, I added some plastic to the groove to lift it up, but when I did, it took away the spot for the mount. So now I'm gonna make me some braces. If you guys can't see what I'm doing right there, I just made a brace to try to keep the frame from moving left to right. Wrong piece, you dummy. And then using the Tamiya quick set, or this extra thin, I'm gonna give it a little bit more. A lot of people won't do this modification, but if you guys do, you can come back and look in this video and see what I did. And that's just to give it support, so that way it just wasn't one thing by itself sitting there. Alright, now let's go back. I want to do the back side of that part too. like a pinch where we can glue that down there. Like a pinch anchor. Yeah, I have several, Mr. Parker, and I'd hate to say, yeah, but man, I don't use, how should I say it? Um, I use my hobby to fund my hobby, and I need some supplies, so I offered up some stuff, to try to, you know, generate the money that I need. And you guys know over the years from following my channel and following my Facebook page, um, I often donate stuff and give stuff away. But this time I'm needing building money, so alright, where's the glue? Yeah, I have a Valari. I have the Gran Torino. What else did I post up? The AMT Fairlane. You guys give me a minute. After I do this, I'll share with you guys what I posted up. The Maverick is I added everything to the Maverick that I think could make a custom grabber. So we'll have the resin hood, the grabber decals, the resin engine bay, a detailed 351 Cleveland motor. Okay, so there's that. I think I want to do one here too on the rear end. This right here might just be long enough. I'm gonna sink this down. Where'd my sander go? So this is the first time I think I've posted anything up on Deal or No Deal. Instead of saying I want this much money for it, I guess let these guys give me an idea of price. I know what I got in everything, but then I also too know that some of the stuff on eBay is outrageously priced. And just like yeah. See, there's my game plan too. Look right there. You seen it accidentally fall, but with it accidentally falling, proved what I wanted to do. Get it right back in place. I'm happy with that. What did Bob Ross say? Yeah, see, I was thinking the same thing, Scott. But when I listed it, I did use the motor out of the Revell 1970 Trino GT. To tell you the truth, I don't know how it will fit with the resin engine bay. But yeah, I added the resin engine bay. Now, because even if you own the Johan kits, they don't have an engine bay. That's just the plastic chassis for the drag car. I did that, did this. Okay, I like that. I like the way that's fitting. Alright. And it kind of won't let it. By doing the brace on the inside, it'll be an easy way to hide some of the paint. And it's not letting it move. Alright, I'm happy with that. Alright, where'd that exhaust go? I know I pulled the exhaust out. Now I can't find it. Alright. It's probably right here too. I'm probably looking right at it. Slow down. See, once I get the exhaust done and in, we can do the drive shaft. But I honestly don't know where I put the drive shaft. Oh, I see it now. Alright, so give me this. Give me this. Alright, so now I got something to hold on. Sometimes, fellas, I gotta do this. This looks like one of those times. In order for me to get a bite on where the exhaust is hollow. Or the muffler is hollow. So what I like to do is get a little plastic sprue tree. Come on. See what I mean? I need supplies. I'm down on my last lighter. Then I'll put it in there. Or maybe I won't. I get another one. Now, where's my paint palette? Here. Get that out of the way. Now I'm gonna go back with this silver and do it like a galvanized like look by using this silver. And you guys can airbrush this. It's meant to be airbrushed, but it also brushes. You gotta wait for it to dry and then put a few more coats on it than you would. For you guys bored at work, you guys can actually say, I was with Minnie watching paint dry. Then we'll get our own aluminum exhaust tip on there. Scott, I have plans, if you're still here, I have plans to take one of my Maverick promos, because I have several. I'm taking one apart, and I'm going to use it to turn one of my Johan Comets into a regular car instead of the drag car. I just wish I had a real promo body or a real Comet promo so that way I could have the real badges and everything. So there's the silver on that part. I'll tell you what, yesterday when I sprayed that chassis, yesterday was the first time I actually used the Stino Res in an airbrush, and it flowed out pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I know Gilbert uses it a lot, and I've always brushed it like this because it works great both ways. Um, the guns I use to paint and clear with, or they're real guns and they're high volume, low pressure, but still it sprays out. It'll go through this acrylic paint quick. So I didn't want to do that. And I noticed with the airbrush, using the airbrush, I don't use my airbrush often. I usually use my mini guns, or some people call them jam guns. Um, the airbrush, it did pretty good, and I only used a few drops, and that's a pretty big, long chassis. I only used a few drops. I seen Chris Frazee and Joel over at Iceman Collections. Man, this week they both released a Dodge Durango Hellcat, and it's all 3D printed. Man, that thing looks beast, but they're getting $150+ for them. I had asked, well, I was asked, I had talked to another 3D printer guy about trading off some of my Monte Carlo promos to get the Nissan hard bodies, but his life's in a different place right now, so I think that deal fell through. But man, some of these 3D printing guys are really making some neat subjects. All right. Looks like we got that done. So I think we should go ahead and do the drive shaft. So I can get... Now, quick opinions. Drive shaft black. Drive shaft silver like an aluminum look. What do you guys think? I know the carrier bearings and stuff I have to do black. But for the drive shaft itself, I've seen them come from precision built that are silver aluminum. And then I've seen them where they're been galvanized or stainless steel. I've seen them in all different kinds of colors. I think I'm gonna go with the silver, the black carrier bearings, and then we'll use some watch parts and do the U joints with some watch parts, because I got plenty. I believe I got plenty of those. Well, don't go in the paint, you idiot. I know I used to have... We might do a decal. We might do a decal search here in a minute, people. Because I believe I might have that bird for the cherry bomb. I like to put that on the exhaust. You know, some of the drag kits, some of the older drag kits would have it for a window sticker. Good thing about this Stynylrez is it is a primer, but it also gives a good coverage for the paint. So that way I can paint the whole thing one color. And then when my other color goes over the top of it, it's already got a primer, so it makes less coats for the other color. To be honest, if I wasn't doing this online for you guys, I would have my crime show playing on YouTube, and I'd be sitting here painting and building. I've been really liking this. I found the channel called The Disturbing Truth. I like documentaries, guys. It's hard for me to follow something car related and build at the same time, because I want to look at what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So I get distracted. But I realized that on my crime shows, like I sit here and listen to them talk, I found that even on some of the podcasts, when some of our other channels are interviewing people, I'm interested in seeing what's going on, and I don't get much building done. I try to do that while the IMS guys are doing their live things on Friday, and I can't concentrate on looking to see what they're talking about. But this crime shows, I like watching those. I like listening to those while I'm working, and the world is crazy. That's for sure. All right, let that stuff there dry for a minute. The camera's, for me, through my lens, I don't know if you guys can tell, it doesn't look like I even changed the color. Because through my lens, as I'm working on it, I know I'm putting silver down. Maybe it's this light. You guys, can you guys even tell there's a color difference? Let that dry. Let's see. Yeah, see how quick that stynel wrist dries really quick. Alright, so now I want to do a red. I want to do a red muffler. Now we're going to use Vallejo red. We're going to use this Vallejo 7. You guys see that? 7926 red. Then I'm going to get some. I use distilled water. I'm going to just take a little bit of the red, a little bit of the water. What's cool about some of this acrylic paint, that it's self-leveling. So some of it you can brush. I seen one guy hand brush the whole body with acrylic paint, and I'm thinking, no way would I ever do anything like that. But then it didn't turn out too bad. Gary Ruby, if you guys remember Gary Ruby, I don't know if he still does his YouTube channel. He is the first one that told me that I can use the acrylic primer and use automotive paint over the top of it. And I'd painted real cars for years and didn't know that. I always thought that I was taught, I should say, that I don't like that brush at all. I always thought that you'd want to use a urethane with a urethane and, you know, stuff like that. I didn't never think you could overcross it. And I'm going to do some, I went a little bit onto the exhaust, so that way I could do some pipe clamps detailing. Like I said, guys, I ain't the best cameraman, so please forgive me if I go in and out of the screen. So there. Now this Vallejo stuff takes a little bit longer to dry than the stynel wrist stuff. So put that back up there. Alright. Alright, then let's get some. I want to use some black. I'm going to go with flat black. That's not 7950 from Vallejo. It's right here's the main carrier. You got a main carrier bearing, and then you got a secondary. And that's because the drive shaft being so long, it's hard to get a good balance. And if you got at any kind of speed unbalanced, your drive shaft can put the hurting on you. Another crime show that I enjoy watching is like the interrogation stuff. It always intrigues me if people the way they react to stuff, and you can almost tell straight from the get-go that they're lying just by their demeanors. And what's scary too is you see how many family members hurt their own family members. If you guys don't use acrylics, I recommend you picking up at least this Vallejo Black because it is a very good flat black. You got the two carrier bearings painted up. Touch up. Got some leftovers here. Come back through and clean up a little bit of the silver. Yeah, I'm just getting caught up with some of your hear your guys' comments. Yeah, back to Scott. Yeah, only the promo and the first edition Johan that you could build either a stock Comet or the funny car had the ones with the body molding. After that, they removed the body moldings and it all either became the race car that, what do we got? You got the Boss Tinky's toy, and then you have Fast Eddie's Comet. So there's that. All right, while we got you guys on here, let's add the I'm gonna add the U-joint detail. We're gonna add some. Hey, boo boo. Get him, man. I got a little trick I do because I can't see for the life of me. Years ago, I could build with no issues. Then I about to turn 48 in a couple months and I can't see shit. So what I do is, I hadn't done this in a while. I updated it because I got glue on it. But I build me a black box. Okay. So what this does, I had to put new black tape in it. What this does, yeah, Scott, I got a whole box of, I created this right here, just to get off track a little bit. This right here is all my Johan stuff. Here's the resin engine bays I got. I actually have the resin, the stock resin hood for the Comet. I also have, well, this right here is a white resin, which I recommend. And then this right here is a yellow resin, which is kind of thick. And then a factory hood that I was going to put the Cougar hood scoop on. And then for my Mavericks, I got a resin flat hood, but now I got, this is the promo hood off the green one I'm working on. Then I got the original AMT version hoods. But I also, Scott, I also have, for one of my comments, I went and got a Kevin Luntz hood scoop for the 70 Comet, for the 70 Cyclone, and I cut it up to make a 70 style, like, the 70 Cyclones, because this right here would be a 70 Comet. I went ahead and cut up a 70 Cyclone resin hood and put in there so that way I could have that style of vent on this Comet. But see how it's all smooth? I wanted the promo body because it has the body molding up through there, and then it will have the Comet scriptures. And this don't have no Comet scriptures. It just has the Mercury right there. But that's a project down the road. And then I got the original. I have the original Fast Eddie too, molded in the yellow still. So what were we going to do? I'm going to turn the light back on. And we're going to get pieces out to do the U-joint detail. One. The solid hood for the regular Comet was on eBay under, well, you can find him on Facebook too. Kevin Luntz is the one who offers the better resin ones. He's also the ones that offered the 60, 70 style engine bay too for the unibodies. You know, because look, Steve, you can see them. You can see the little pieces of watch parts that are brass in here than you can if I was trying to dig through here while I'm building. See how it all blends in? And then once you pull it out to put it down here on the table to prep your glue and stuff, you lose track of them. And what I like about this, it's an old pill. It's an old pill box, Steve. So that way, say I'm in the middle of it, and I already picked them all out, and I have to go somewhere. They're all still in here. That way, I don't have to dig them twice. And then I just get back in here, and you can see them. That's an old jeweler's trick a buddy of mine showed me years ago. His mom used to make Indian style stuff with turquoise, and she'd make what she called chips. And in order to see the chips, she'd make rings and necklaces and earrings. I don't know how many I need. I just grabbed a few because I didn't have none in here. All right. So now, let's we got our drive shaft here. Here's all that. So if we know it mounts this way, I'm not worried about. Yeah, you're right. That's it. But on eBay, he doesn't show missing links. On eBay, it's a long ass number, Scott, and I can't remember it right offhand. But I know he's on Facebook. I contact him a lot on Facebook, and he can definitely send you a link. Some of the stuff I bought was old stuff that he had, and when I contacted him, like I bought a dozen of those engine bays because, see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 Mavericks, the 2 Comets, 2 Gran Torinos, Um, a couple of the older AMT stuff that didn't have the engine bays, they just had the rollover chassis. So I ordered a dozen at once, and it took him a minute to get it casted because he cast to order, but dude, even then he got me what I wanted. And he sells the 70 Cyclone Hood, the 70 Comet. Oh, I need my toothpicks out. The Maverick Grabber Hood. Yeah, see, I got the promos for. I actually bought the promos just for the stock interior because I wanted to build them. You know, pro tournament. You know how you've seen my Maverick builds, but it was still. All right, where'd my tweezers go? What, bud? Oop. You guys hear that? Kid wants some attention, don't he? I'm putting these first few U-joints on, guys. You can't even tell. I guess it's the silver color against this gold. Yeah. Yeah, he's always been good and friendly to me. A few years ago, somebody made a comment about wait time, and I'm like, he's not a manufacturer, he's a supplier. He doesn't sell stuff unless he has it. He's not like these other people that know next month I'm going to have 11 of these, and then they get upset. I've never had anything I couldn't use from him, Scott. You know what I mean? Some people you buy stuff from, and then when you get it, it's not at all what you thought it was. Some of the stuff that the people are often you can't even use. Can you guys even see those? Let me see, where'd my magnifying glass go? You guys see them now? See the little U joint, little, just small little pieces to make it look like it's the bushings inside the U joint. All right, I'm going to do the other side now. Yeah. Well, that's the beauty about being online, Scott. You don't have to deal with a person if you don't want to. And we all have our own reasons to like or dislike someone. So I've always made my judgment on my own. There was one guy though, that seemed to hit the internet and the modeling world really, really bad. He was offering us some great resin stuff, but then was found guilty of sexual acts with a minor. So kind of removed me from his. And he had some neat stuff too, but I won't deal with that. I got kids, and kids are too young to be victimized. All right. So I got that side done. Once you get all your pieces laid out and you know where you have them, you ain't got to look for them. That's what I like about the black box. It makes detailing go a lot quicker. Then I'll use these same watch parts to do the drain plug. I'm going to have to remove. So here's getting in my way. So let's remove this and this so we can glue, 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 glue. All right. Uh-oh. Get the last one for the drive shaft. Then we'll do our rear end drain plug. Alright, so I got the U-joints in on the drive shaft. I bet you guys can't see these. Wish I knew a way to make my camera zoom in better. Alright, so now let me pick, I gotta pick out a few more. One for the rear end, one for the oil pan, and I forgot I want to put a drain plug in on the radiator too. So let's rear end. It's hard to get them. Guys, you can find the watch parts I'm using. You can find them on eBay. Oh, I lost that one. They can be found on eBay. They can be found on Hobby Lobby in the scrapbooking section. Ooh, don't dip over. Right now, radiator one. Not one for the radiator. All right. All right. For the rear end, I'm going to put it right. I'm put it right there on the pumpkin. Don't know if you guys can see that either. Right there. All right. For the radiator, Put a radiator one right there. Oh, lost that one. Got the radiator one right there. You guys see that? Alright, now for the oil pan. Want to put it like right here. See that? That cat is being a pain in the butt. Alright. Let's see how everything's dried up here. Got all that dried up now. Alright. So one thing I wanted to do is I want to make it look like it got a muffler clamp. So what I do is I got telephone wire like this, the same wire I used to do the heater hoses, but then I take the copper out. I take the copper inner out. Then if you bend it over the exhaust, like that, you can make it look like it has a muffler hanger, muffler clamp in there. But I found this neat little thing at Hobby Lobby. You can go to the bracelet section, and I found aluminum ones that you don't even have to strip, that they're already aluminum. So what I do is I go to the part of the exhaust that it can be exited easy, and do that. Then I pull it like that, squeeze it together, pull it off, then I cut it. Because it's aluminum, it cuts off smooth. And then put it, watch that super glue. Where's my tweezers? Then when you put it over there like that, yep, forgot to put the glue on there. Then you see like that, it looks like it's got a muffler clamp on it. Now I lost it. Oh, there it is. The wire, the aluminum wire at the bracelet side, it's on a spool. I pulled it off and straightened it out. You can use it for fuel lines, brake lines, whatever you want, really. Got that there like that. While we're letting this glue dry on there, I'm going to dig through some decals. I usually have, that's tuner decals, racing decals. There should have some. Gotta look through some old race car stuff. Found the hooker header ones, but I'm looking for stuff for exhaust. So see if we can't get no cherry bombs. Nope. I try to keep my decals separated between stock, factory, hot rod, stuff like that. Kind of helps it narrow it down. But sometimes you never know where they could be. I know some of the old race cars had them. I appreciate you guys that are standing around following me while I'm not really doing nothing. Guess I could always add them later, but thought I could do it now. Would be cool. That's tuner. Here's what they'd be in my race car sets. They got hardened headers. Man, this kit ain't been out in forever. These decals look real good. That's off the monogram snap together Nissan pickup truck. Well, those are all dirty. Well, you know what? Some of this decal stuff I've had for years, guys. And what the, probably some of this stuff probably won't even come off the sheets. I remember getting this decal sheet just for the Mallory ignition decals off the 62 Impala, the AMT version. I don't even remember building the kit. I'd just get it for the decals. Pass the kit on. Ain't I looking? I'm looking for a Woody Woodpecker bird, right? For the old cherry bomb. For you guys that are still following me. At least what I think that's what I'm looking for. Look at these old Bob Glittons. Jesus Christ, why do I have these still? Huh. I got moon eyes. And no cherry bomb. Hmm. Well, that's all my... Guys, look how old these stickers are. Wish they had a copyright on them. Yeah. I went through everything I have. I'd never seen none. Yep. Looks like we're not going to put a decal on that exhaust then. Yep. Yeah, totally forgot I had these. These are real old. I did find some of these. You know what? I think thrush. Huh, Mr. Parker, I forget about those. I just remember my dad and my uncle in the 80s. They loved they'd put them. My dad actually had a friend that worked at was a shop here in Kansas called CarX, and we could go to CarX mufflers, and he'd always get cherry bombs. I remember one year, my mom and dad got my Uncle Brian a set of side pipes for his Maverick. My dad had a Maverick, my Uncle Larry had a Maverick, my Uncle Brian ended up with my dad's Maverick. You know, he just always had neat, cool cars growing up. Alright, remember, gotta go under. We're going to go ahead and mount the exhaust today before we get done here. Go under, and then under. And then let's get some glues on this. I think next week, when we come back next week, I think I want to finish up the chassis by getting disc brakes put on the wheels and getting shocks and what have you all done up. That sounds sick, Scott. What are you going to have in it now? Alright. Now, to me, I believe it's better to have the drive shaft in first. That way we know. Okay, we're not going to glue in the carrier bearing yet. We're going to leave that alone so that way we can get. Okay, looks like we need glue here. And all around this orifice. Okay, I see. The exhaust was holding me up. Alright. Get everything in there. Exhaust hooked up. And I got a little touch up to do right here. Got a little super glue on my finger. Oh, that ain't gonna work. So carrier bearing, Got that one bearing just sitting up there all by itself for some reason. It must mount. I want to check that out. See, this is what it looks like right now. When you got the car, was it all numbers matching, Scott? Do that, this. Okay, I see. That carrier bearing's going to set right here. So the second carrier bearing up here that looks like it's not doing nothing. So we got all that mounted. Alright. Then we can do our exhaust. We can do our exhaust tip next week. We'll get everything else finished up next week. It looks like it's time for me to get out of here, guys. I got a 2 o'clock alarm about to go off. So just to thank you guys for following me today. We got the motor mounted, got the exhaust mounted, got the drive shaft done. Man, thank you guys. You guys got to watch me paint a little bit, build a little bit. What a good day. There you go. Yeah, a lot of people trash it. They'll sell it off or whatnot or scrap it thinking they won't need it again, and then they have to repurchase it. That's a pretty smart deal, Scott, that you kept it. I know growing up, a lot of the stuff that me and my friends worked on and updated, it got sold off or scrapped. Touch that up right there. Do some of that. I appreciate you guys' time today. And like I said, this is Minnie, and I'm out. You guys have a good one.